Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Repentance, it's not Afterbirth Plus. I could forgive you for being confused because I keep calling it Afterbirth Plus. I will say, before we get started here, I've changed the weighting of the outcomes for the randomizer again. Now, if our base case is delirium, which is maybe working backwards, but these are like arbitrary, weighting values, if our base case is delirium, Ubermom, the Beast, and Mega Satan will happen about 2.5 times as often as Delirium, and Blue Baby and the Lamb will happen twice as often as like True Ending, Alt Path, Mega Satan, and like 5 times as likely as Delirium. So I've just worked it so that the way I look at this, the average run will probably go to Blue Baby or the Lamb. And then there's a 20% chance that we get Boss Rush or Hush on top of that. It sounds nicer to me. And we'll randomize. Look at that. I mean, I'm not saying it worked because that's a little bit of specious reasoning. But that's regular Forgotten. I'm hoping my screen region looks a little better today, too. Regular Forgotten to Blue Baby, right? Yeah, to Blue Baby. Let me see. We got pillar boxing here. I don't mind it, though. Okay, so I'm just making sure. Yes, Blue Baby, regular Forgotten. This should be fun. I like, well, you know what? I forgot that we could fly. I like playing as regular Forgotten. Certainly one of the stronger characters in the game, no doubt about that. I'm proud of myself. Yesterday, I was, overworked is maybe not the right way to describe it, but I was like, man, I really don't want to take the time to edit together the video, even though it's not the editing process, it's just the rendering process that's annoying, but I did it anyway. Again, I'm not trying to flex, like, oh, look at how smart and sensible and dedicated I am. It's just one of those things, you know what it is? It's like, you ever, like, be at home over summer vacation? Hold on, I need to clear my throat for this one. I want to make sure I don't mess up. You ever stay at home on summer vacation and you'll wake up to maybe, I mean, back in my day it was a note from your mom. Maybe now it would be more like a text. And it would be like, hey, honey, hope you enjoy, your 75th day of sleeping into, 1 p.m. in a row. I don't want you to, and again, you're going to say this was lucky, and it was lucky that I was able to live such a semi-charmed kind of life as a teenager. So I'm not really complaining. In fact, if anything, I'm demonstrating that I didn't know how good I had it at the time. I don't want to overload you with too much, domestic workload, honey. But when I get home, I'm going to cook dinner. Do you think it would be possible for you to take the chicken breast out of the freezer and like just leave it on the countertop so it's defrosted by the time I get home? Thanks, love you. And when you wake up and you see that message, you're like, yeah, no problem. But I don't but I don't have to do it right away. I mean, come on, I got all day to accomplish this single objective that I've been given. Then you go up, maybe you have some breakfast. Maybe you got some leftover za or something like that. You go down, you play like an hour of Halo 2. You head up again, you start to get a snack. Why are you eating so much? You got nothing else to do. Bite my lip and close my eyes. Take me away to paradise. That's what Green Day said. That's how Green Day did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. Hold on, we got a tarot cloth back there. I don't want to abandon... Like, I might even be okay losing a bone heart just to play the Eddie room a little bit more prodigiously. You guys want to, like, do damage to each other or what? Okay, it worked out. HP, rate of fire increase. This is nice. It's very nice. Anyway, long story short, you just keep procrastinating. I don't have to do it right there. I don't have to do it, I'll do it later. I'll do it then. All of a sudden, you get too distracted. Maybe you were playing Oddball in Halo 2. I just want to make sure I'm focused here. Okay, this is teleports you to the devil deal, or a 33% chance to teleport you to the devil deal. Okay. Are you a wizard is basically irrelevant. And, you know, your mom's coming home from work at 5, it's 4:45, and you're like, oh, crap. You go, you take the chicken breast out, you run the kitchen sink full of, like, boiling hot water. But it's too late. She comes home, you know, she touches the meat, and you know for a fact she's disappointed in you because she gave you one job, and yet you couldn't prioritize it because there's like a principle, I think, in I think it's in time management, and it's just called, I don't know what it's called, I should say, but it's the idea that the amount of time it takes to complete a task swells proportionally to the amount of time given for a task. What's this next one? Either a soul heart or an angel room item. Let me get tarot cloth real quick. We're spending a lot of time on this floor, but it's for a good reason. This is potentially a pretty important kind of like Kickstarter for us here. Like Star Citizen. So true. So true. This will find our secret room. We probably were capable of finding it ourselves anyway, but, you know, this is just one more thing that might be able to kickstart us. Am I willing to sack a bone heart for a 33% chance of an angel deal? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that at present. I gotta see what happens here. Luckily, we don't need to worry about it. Grab this first. I'm just trying to play it properly. Who would have thought, by the way, with so little HP, you can still get your, you can still get a little bit of bootstrapping done here. At this point, we've invested far too much time. It must work out. Hey, look at that. That's actually amazing. Like, that's very, very, very good. And I'm gonna take it as you. And I know you might be like, well, no, we already took the combination spirit heart, right? You might have been like, why not take that as the soul? Well, we're probably going to scrap the soul for a deal with the devil coming up anyway. So this actually worked out. Ooh, I thought maybe that could work. It worked out better than expected. Anyway, long story short, you know, it was just something I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm happy I didn't procrastinate it, though, and I got it done, so hopefully it ended up going on YouTube. And you might have noticed there was even a little crossfade in it. Did you notice that? Did you notice there's a little, like, transition from one screen to the other one? That's Adobe Premiere Rush, baby. I'm paying, like, $17 a month for the privilege of having the software. Hey, and I've edited, that's the third video in 2 months that I've had to edit. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm like, it's a prudent business expense. I had to edit together a sizzle reel for Knockout City for one of the promotional things. I had to edit 2 Isaac episodes that were a little long. One of which I had to go get an eyelash out of my baby's eye. What is this? Oh, dude, Tractor Beam's been showing up all the time lately. Little disappointed, by the way, in our arcade, but it's the way of the road. You know, you get a lot of arcades these days that don't have blood banks in them. It is what it is. Ancient Recall is a kind of a roundabout way of doing this. Now, the world card is crawl space. I like a crawl space. You know what? Oh, we really? I thought we could. Hold on. Check this out. Cruel. All right, fine. Actually, turns out that this was really good regardless. Technology 0. I'm stoked. It is getting really tough to imagine a loss here right now. To be quite frank with you. Owned. I'm starting to wonder how we could even come to pass that we could lose with such an incredible series of items early on. We've even got another Eddie room. Don't really have the means to play it just yet, but you know, life comes at you fast. Things can change drastically over the course of, you know, merely a single floor. just gonna hang out back here defensively. Go ahead. Make my... he made my day. He made my day. I honestly didn't know you'd actually be able to squeeze by the hitbox of my other character there. Nice try. Nice try. This time I'm not going to ask you to make my day because I learned my lesson, okay? I learned my lesson on that one. I'm going to take this as you. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Oh, I didn't mean to go down. I'm just meant to go across here. I mean, you know how this goes. Don't lose the bone heart, preferably. Grab these two. We should be able to make an Eddie room work again. And I'm definitely, like, more than willing to lose a bone heart if we have to. Of course, I would rather not. Just hoping maybe there is some red hearts for sale here. Whatever you need won't be for sale. That's the... It's like the desire sensor that people talk about in... Oh, it took my eternal heart. Will this take the bone heart? It won't, which is actually great intel. But it's like the desire sensor from Monster Hunter. You know, it's the idea that whatever you want, if you talk about wanting it, the odds of you getting it are lower. I think another means of conceptualizing the desire sensor is like... maybe the best way to describe it is just like it's an observation bias. It's the same thing as... I mean, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just saying, right? It's like the same thing as like a watched pot never boils. By the way, I saw that we had a half heart, or a full heart here, so let's sacrifice half a spirit heart for a full heart. The hope, and again, we get 2 more plays because we had this Eternal Heart from Prayer card, which admittedly we're wasting the Eternal Hearts, but at the same time, we're not really wasting them. Random chest. Red heart, please. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. Planetariums can now spawn in the womb. Seems like a high percentage chance to work out for us. 33% chance for Angel or Devil Room. So this is a waste of our time. And then this is the big play right here. I'll do it with a Bone Heart. Lazarus Rags. Kind of a slap in the face. I don't think you need me to tell you that. I'm willing to take this to the next level, man, because it's the one after this that's the big play. And I'm not disappointed to get 30 coins, honestly. We are at 10 minutes on the second floor. For a run that's supposed to be like super good, we're taking our sweet time here. But look at this, 43 cents on the second floor. Why don't you go ahead and toss me one of these? Hey, basically paid for itself. I do know we have a tinted rock back there. Fanny pack, Pandora's box, floor 2. Just use it right away. Maybe not the best value, but not bad. And then I know we have a tinted rock back here, and we'll move on. Look, I'm not thrilled with some of the payouts we've gotten so far, but I think it would be disingenuous to say I'm disappointed, okay? And this is kind of like I'm glad I adjusted the weightings again. Just because for me, like... Especially, Delirium is kind of like a weird case because you have to go hush in order to guarantee Delirium. But I don't like... Rephrasing. I prefer having... Even though I like to play fast, I prefer having like an unlimited amount of time to try to like, you know, flex the Isaac muscle and not really break the game, but like find a seam that you can kind of rip apart and, you know, Kool-Aid Man and go, you know... Oh, lucky us. Look at this. Neptunus builds massive tears bonus over 3 seconds while not firing. What does the Kool-Aid Man say when he busts through a door? I think I'm getting the Kool-Aid Man confused with Fat Albert right now. He says, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's right." Okay, I do have to say. Hold on, I think we have a synergy. When playing as the Bone Lord, I believe that builds our Neptunus bonus. Hold on. It absolutely does. So we can actually, like, enter a room, fire off the Neptunus, Maybe not. I have no idea. Quite frankly, I thought I had it all under control, and I've realized that I have no idea what's happening. Okay, try not to lose your bone heart if possible. I mean, we're gonna be able to. The prayer card means, and I think it's just something you got to keep an eye on. But the prayer card essentially means we have no we have less worry over losing. Oh my God, I'm trapped. We have less worry. Oh, that's the tier bonus. Okay. Still, it charges so quickly. We have less worry over losing our HP because of the fact that, you know, we can generate 1 extra bone heart per floor. So it might seem like I'm just tossing them away willy-nilly. I'm trying to leverage them for advantages. You know, a different story would be just getting hit by a bomb or something. That appeals to me less. 2 of these pills equals we take. That's pretty bad, but, you know, life goes on. Whatever. Alright, well, I'm feeling set up, I'm feeling comfortable on this run. I'm yelling timber. I don't know what it means, but it certainly gets the people going, and that's why they play it at all the softball games. You know what I was thinking? So I did a stream yesterday, I played some Heck Let Loose with Daniel, an immersive World War II simulator. And that's all, like, completely on the side of what's actually relevant for this story. However... yeah, sure, give me a restock here. I was talking about how I get self-conscious sometimes when I order Italian foods. Because I never, like, I mean, I don't speak Italian, and I you know, I don't have that much awareness of how things are pronounced in Italian. You know, I know pizza, I know, I mean, I don't even say pasta right, and that's supposed to be one of the easy ones, right? In Canada, we say pasta. And in America, you're supposed to go, a pasta, apparently. I guess, unless you put the sauce on it and actually pretend to be Italian, it doesn't count as, people are like, what the heck are you talking about? Where are you from? In New York, we pronounce it like, I don't know why someone from New York is talking like that. Well, you know why they're talking like that when they're from New York? Because it's the greatest city in the world. The greatest city in the world. Sorry, this, you know, I enjoy Hamilton, the musical. That's just, it's one of my favorite parts based on how self-indulgent it is when you have a show on Broadway to write a song about how amazing New York is. But anyway, that's not even a knock on New York. It's just like, you know, it's just like, who's got the best fans in the NFL? It's us, the Cleveland Browns. No, this time it's the St. Louis Rams. We're in St. Louis today. But I was talking about how I don't know really how to pronounce Italian foods sometime when I order them at a restaurant, okay? Damocles. Is Zane kills you at random time when taking damage from an enemy after you use the item? Call me crazy. I think this is unusable. I will be heading down to the next floor. May God have mercy on your soul. So sometimes when I'm at a restaurant, if I want something, I'll be like, I'll put a little sauce on the end of the word, you know? I'll have the tagliatelle. I'll have the penne. Like, I just try to, like, pronounce the last letter, if it's an E, with, like, every vowel sound that it could possibly be. And I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but they know what I mean eventually. Anyway, it was just a joke. Then someone on my subreddit was like, here's a little, like, and it wasn't rude at all, it was nice, but, it was like, here's a bit of an Italian pronunciation guide when you're at a restaurant, and it was like, you know, I read it, but I maybe pulled something different from it than they thought I was gonna get from it, which is how to pronounce foods at restaurants. Instead, I was like, first off, I didn't know it was pronounced bruschetta instead of bruschetta, so there's something for me. To learn from in the future. But then on top of that, screw you. Not the person who made the post. It was very useful. I was thinking, man, you don't see bruschetta that much anymore, huh? I feel weird saying it, like I'm putting on airs, but you don't see bruschetta that much anymore. There was a time where it really felt like it had a moment. There was like North America was hit by a wave of bruschetta. It was perhaps one of the most popular appetizers at many restaurants. It was chain restaurants even got their own version of bruschetta. And then you go to a fancy place, you're like, you guys want to get an appetizer? And they're like, oh, you know, sorry, we don't have any. All we have is antipasto. But we do have some bruschetta. See, this is a little +2. Thank you, +2. You don't see it that much anymore. Now when I'm at an Italian restaurant, I mean, I feel like maybe bruschetta was not like a formal Italian restaurant thing to begin with. It was kind of like, you know, when you're here, your family. Have some garlic bread with a caprese salad on top of it. But I miss it, if I'm being quite frank. I wonder if I could just... Is there like a YouTube video essay on the decline of bruschetta popularity? Because I feel like it has not lost... Let me put it this way. I feel like the world is ready for a return to bruschetta popularity. I mean, I know we went through a very carb-phobic period, and we might still be there, but I feel like maybe it's time for the garlic bread appetizers to come back. It's not necessarily good for you, and I guess you do get bread, you know, often, I wouldn't say for free, but complimentary, which is a bit of a semantic difference, but anyway. Complimentary is something you paid for, but we're not going to charge you extra for. Free is, you could just walk in and be like, hey, give me some garlic bread. I'm just surprised, because there was a time, many times, you know, in high school, I'd go to, you know, I'd have lunch at the Moxie's inside of the Cataraqui Town Center with a friend of mine. And we were very sophisticated. I'd get the buffalo chicken tenders with fries. Some bruschetta to start. That's pun intended after you eat those buffalo chicken tenders from Moxie's. Anyway, I'm a little upset with the game here, but again, this is when you got the value of prayer card, you can afford to get a little spicier with it. If we lose some bone hearts, we lose some bone hearts. That's what they're there for. Anyway, long story short, there's so many dubious items lately. I was complimenting you earlier. Do you not recall when I was saying, like, thank you so much for all the great stuff you've done for us, game? Okay, that, again, probably not the best use of our money to basically spend, like, 40 cents on getting full HP, but look at the nice things we're doing for our donation machine lately. Like this was, it was at 290 like a week ago. Pretty much perfect, man. All right, get me out of here. Might be an Eddie room, but I'm not sweating it, man. I'm getting the heck out of town. Might even be a planetarium again. I'm not sweating it. I feel like my work on this floor is done. Leaving Dunce Cap behind is... Oh, you know what? I'm a fool. Let me write the YouTube comment for you. I was so mad. I went to dictionary.com and looked up a synonym for anger in order to properly convey my rage, because mad is not a strong enough word. When he didn't pick up Dunce Cap, I was going to lose my mind. You egg! I was livid! Because with Tractor Beam, this is like the one scenario where you actually get Dunce Cap and you say, so true. OMG me. You're happy to have it. Alright, take me down. Look at this. It's very hard to complain about this run. The run is good, okay? I will also say it's very easy to complain about this run, and not even just based on the fact that it's, like, slow. Simply based on the fact that we've also had a lot of situations where the items that we've gotten on an item pedestal have been kind of doo-doo. Curse of the Tower, Dunce Cap, notwithstanding, you know, some spacebar items like Kidney Bean we had no interest in, and etc., etc. So, ooh, it's the greatest city in the world. Sorry. Endless Nameless. 25% chance to drop a copy of the card. I think I'd rather have a planetarium. Why have a 25% chance of something when I could have an indeterminate chance of something? It could be anything. It could even be 25%. Look at the DPS with Neptunus here is pretty good. It's almost as tasty as Uranus. Does he know? Does he know? Yeah, I'm something of an astronomer myself, Peter. Two of Hearts. Great if we get an Eddy room. And if we don't get an Eddy room, it's still great for me to poop on. Okay, this is... we've come far enough, okay? You need to give me the damage upgrade I've been looking for 10 floors. It just needs to happen. I've been a good boy. I'm now... I want my good boy points. I want my tendies. I want my head pats and so on and so forth. I am owed... I'm going to say at this point I'm owed pentagram. If you could find it within your heart to pass it on to me. And keep in mind, we're only going to the Eddy, or not the Eddy floor, the streamer room, as Dan calls it, because it has 4 golden chests in it, which makes the streamers go... Anyway, how am I doing? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. At the stream yesterday, I wouldn't say it was weird in the sense like it had a weird energy or something like that, but I really didn't know what I was going to play, and normally when that happens, I just default to like opening the Isaac Casino for a bit, having some banter and having some fun. But yesterday, I couldn't, because I had to get that last Isaac run done, which meant I had to keep that run in the continue queue until it was over, so... after Dan and I played a little Hell Let Loose, I just played Pokemon Unite, and I gotta tell you, I was feeling it, man. That's pretty good. I was having a great time. I even played a little bit more last night, when I was just getting ready for bed. I will say that last night, this might be toxic, so I'm loath to admit it, but I actually, I tried to report somebody in the game for being bad. And I know you're gonna be like, that's rude, but just hear me out here, okay? Like, it's one of those things, in principle, you shouldn't report someone for being bad, but you know that, that axiom, I forget which, you know, what, it has like a formal name, but it's like, at a sufficiently high degree of technical, or technological, progress, science is indistinguishable from magic. It's like at a significant enough level of not being good at Pokemon Unite, trolling is indistinguishable from just a lack of skill, right? So I don't know. Like, it's hard when someone is really, really like bad at a game. How do you distinguish or draw the line as a human judge of character between intentional feeding and just not knowing what's happening and thus feeding as a result of that? So I was in a game with somebody, and I'm, you know, I don't want to cast aspersions on their character. I'm sure they were doing their best, and I mean that sincerely. I don't want to cast aspersions on their character, but they played Garchomp. You know, he's like a weird dragon dinosaur type thing. They go to the jungle, which is where you're supposed to get solo experience. You're supposed to be like a little bit ahead of your team in terms of like the level that you're at. He pops out of the jungle like, you know, 5 or 6 minutes later, he's the same level as the lanes. And we're like, what the heck are you doing? You know, you're supposed to, you're who we're relying on to carry us here. And he's just like, OMG, lol, my mistake. You know, I mean, he didn't actually say anything because we don't have voice chat on. But, so anyway, we lost that game because their jungle got, you know, like 3 levels ahead by the time the ganks came out, and we just snowballed and, you know, the end. And then, like, I was like, oh, they did really badly. But, you know, everyone has bad games. Myself included, I'm told. For me, I'm like, no, even though I got 10 points, it's my teammate's fault. But, you know, sometimes on stream, they're like, you really shouldn't have ulted that jungle creep. Anyway, Moba talk. Like 2 games later, I got the same person on my team. They played the same character, and the exact same situation came to pass. And I was like, you know what? This is griefing. Maybe it's just not being good at the game, but I'm gonna call it griefing because it's happening to me. I feel grief right now. And what is grief if not, you know, ranking points leaving the body, right? Long story short, I tried to report them. There were only 2 options for how to report them. One of them is AFK, which they were not. One of them was hate speech, which they also were not. I mean, I don't know, maybe. But I couldn't hear it because we didn't have VoIP on. So I said, okay, fine, you got me. I will not report you. But I did block them. I'm willing to say, and I don't even think it stops them from showing up in games. Maybe it does stop them from showing up in games in the future. I'm hoping it does something, but... That's, it almost, I'm not gonna, and I mean, that was when I got, you know, you're like, what about your Moba psychology? When you get mad, you log off? That's exactly what happened. After I failed to report them out of the goodness of my heart, and not because of the mechanics of the game, I promise you this, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I did. And that was basically the end of my anecdote for that night. Or for last night, I should say. I had fun, though. It's still a very... enjoyable game. It's just anytime you have a game where look, here's the thing. You can always... This is interesting, huh? You can always probably find... something still alive here? What? You can always find a way... What? For you to have done better. In just about any pursuit in your life, you know, on any group project, you could always find a situation where, like, oh, I could have done more research here, I could have, you know, dedicated more time to this, yada, yada, yada. And I'm taking the Alabaster Box just because it's fun, by the way. Not, like, Prayer Card probably is a better item from the perspective of guaranteeing the win, but... And I think the same holds true in any team-based game. Like, if you're a genuine, like, Marcus Aurelius level stoic, then I think the right and healthy thing to do whenever you lose a game, because it's the only thing that's actually within your control, is to be like, what could I have done? But I think it's also, it's like human nature, and we want to make sure we're going to the angel room. Sure, 100% chance to get an angel room, amazing. Just in time to give us, you know, like one more angel deal. There's a real, genuine human temptation that's like, sure, I could have done some stuff differently, and I could have played better. But that all wouldn't have mattered at all because my teammate was just, you know, feeding out there in the jungle, or for whatever reason just keeps, like, you know, trying to tower dive and blah, 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 blah. You do get into a lot of situations where you're like, sure, if I was, like, you know, LCS level, I guess. Okay, that doesn't work. Who knows what could have happened, but simultaneously, you know... There's an anchor, you know, in a lot of contexts. And I'm always surprised when people are like, it's an unhealthy attitude to, you know, not blame your teammates for anything. I'm like, dude... I take responsibility in a MOBA when I die, at least some of the time. I'm not saying every time, because, I mean, who amongst us is perfect, right? It's a lot easier to spot the flaws in others sometimes, at least in a gameplay context, than it is in yourself. Oddly enough, I think when it comes to your fashion sense, I think it's the opposite. Usually I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm undripped today, and people are like, nice swag, Dad. And I'm like, really? The Banana Republic polo buttoned up to the tippy top? Who would have thought? That being said, you know, like you're telling me when you're in a group project in school, and you know, they're like, oh, if you don't, sometimes they'll give you the group, you know, they, instead of being like, you can choose your own group members, they'll be like, we're going to assign you group members, and then all of a sudden, you know, you got the slacker, and you know, it's high school, like, who cares, but you're like, oh, I'm going to have to do, like, half this project. Then when you get, like, an 86 on it, you're like, well, we could have had 100 if you just, you know, showed up. Well, I suppose I could have shouldered more of the burden myself. Yeah, it's not a perfect world, you know? Like, Sometimes there's a proportionate amount of blame placed on somebody whose dereliction caused a disproportionate amount of grief. Hey, I'm not trying to justify online toxicity. I'm just saying, like, in a 5-person game, if you're consistently the reason that, like, 4 other people get annoyed, then your annoyance index is 400%. That's like, if there was, like, a weather report, they would be like, holy crap, there's a high percentage, like, chance of intentional feeding when this person's in the game. Please, like, wear sunscreen. SPF, like, 100, please, because you're gonna get burned. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do look forward to Thursdays. Thursdays are like... I've realized I was not auditing my time, but just mentally thinking about it. I genuinely, with the baby... Here's my routine, okay? So I wake up at like 7:30, I go to the bathroom, you know, drink a cup of coffee, start streaming around, or start recording around like maybe 8 a.m., 8:30, somewhere around there. That's a lot of damage taken very quickly. Should still be fine, but just worth thinking about. You know, record a couple of episodes, sometimes more, sometimes less. Stream 11 to 4, and then from 4 to 7, like, I'm on baby duty. And baby duty is like, I eat lunch for 15 minutes while trying to make sure she doesn't cry, because she's like, you have the audacity to eat lunch right now? Then we go for like a nice, and this is when it's not raining, which again, it's barely done literally all summer in Vancouver. But we go for a walk for like an hour, you know? I would go to the grocery store, figure out what I'm gonna cook for dinner that night. But I realized that I'm spending 10 hours a week or something like that, because I do it on the weekends too, right? Just walking around, which is great, by the way. I don't, like, I'm not in the best shape of my life, or even close to it, really. But being able to get outside for like an hour-ish every single day, I think it does have like some positivity when it comes to my mental health. I even have like a little bit of a tan, which is, you're gonna laugh at, because, you know, if you see me on camera, you're like, really? But I don't know, something happens to you as you get older, okay? When I was a kid, I was like, I mean, I don't glorify having a tan, by the way. If anything, it means I probably forgot to put on sunscreen a couple times. Regardless, let me see. It's an angel deal. Some spirit hearts. Now I realize, like, spirit hearts aren't worth anything for us. Divine intervention. Remember, you're going up. But it's true. Like, as a child, and I think this is relatable. Anybody I've ever talked to about this stuff is like, yeah, it seems to compute. In the summertime, I would just have like a permanent tan. Even like, you know, I had hair at the time, not to flex. But my hair would like change color. It would get super like more blonde. I'm normally more of like a light brown, but it would get like almost like naturally bleached. Now, even if and I'm sure it's mostly just to do with like you know, the amount of the consistency of the time spent outdoors. But now it's like, I don't tan. I'm just like as pale as like Nosferatu. And then like if I spend 8 hours out in the sun, I just get burned. Like that's there is no tan anymore. Like it doesn't exist in the oeuvre. But anyway, so I'm spending like 10 hours a week taking walks and like listening to podcasts, man. I need better podcast recommendations. So I love Comedy Bang Bang. Also listen to a viewer-recommended podcast called No Stupid Questions, which is a lot of fun and very interesting. And then apart from that, I listen to like, and I'm just popping that, man. I listen to like way too many like finance podcasts, and it's not even close to a flex. It's actually the opposite. Because, like, they all either talk about the same thing, which is, like, investing in, you know, low-cost index funds for 40 years. Or, alternatively, they talk about stuff that I don't necessarily think is germane for me to focus on, right? Like, for example, like, hey, China cracked down on the for-profit education industry this week. And when I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is mildly interesting, but realistically, like, this is not part of my, like, investment strategy. Anyway, I'm not trying to belabor the point here. I'm simply suggesting I'm interested in some more podcasts. So if you got good podcast recommendations, hit me up and let me know. What are my interests? I will say, and this is probably gonna knock out like at least, let's say like 30% of the recommendations. I don't really care for like serialized. What is all going wrong, man? Serialized story-based podcasts. Oh my god, I lost 3 bone hearts on the same room. Hold on. We gotta focus a little. I don't really care for like serialized podcasts. Which is to say, I don't mind them. However, I can't guarantee that I'll maintain the logical through line, you know, because I'll fall asleep listening to it. I'll be walking and paying attention to other stuff. I don't know, man. I'm almost like, I just hate Dead Sea Scrolls, though. So I guess I'll go a little delirium. And then apart from that, like, I also like a podcast, personally, maybe only because I've listened to these more. I like a podcast that's a bit meatier. Like, the one thing I don't want to do, because we have, like, busted data caps in Canada, I don't like to put on a podcast and the average episode length is, like, you know, 8 minutes or something like that, and it teaches you one cool thing, and then you gotta look for another episode. I'm talking, like, I want minimum like 30 minutes, and even then I prefer like maybe even like an hour and a half, something like. Oh, it's a cool horse pill, man. Hey, chill. So I'm interested to hear if you got any recommendations there. It's a beautiful tears up. Let's pop Empress here because I'm not sure if we're gonna live. So I think that using the Empress here strikes me as a very sensible option. I'll admit, I just did absolutely horribly on this floor, but that's better. Okay. I'm going to open the chest, and then we're going to throw in a little pause, because I actually got a little morning baby duty to handle as well. But this one, it won't be 10 hours away, I promise. Gimpy's good. Worm Friend is good. Sulfuric Tears exists. And I do think the fruitcake should be good with what we got going on here. But I'll be back in, well, for you, it'll be like a second. See ya. Hey, we're back. And it's only been a little bit. I gotta remember where we were standing here. I remember we finally got our first potential damage upgrade via fruitcake. I remember we have a divine shield that I know not how to use. I remember the folly of taking Alabaster Box. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad item, okay? I would stop shy of saying that. We're getting some serious lag down here, by the way, but oh, baby. But Alabaster Box is gonna suck it all up. That was a weird Hierophant, too. Why did we only get 3 Spirit Hearts out of a Tarot Cloth Hierophant? That's how you can tell I haven't been gone for too long. Because I remember some of the ancillary, not ancillary. I remember some of the ancillary items that I had on my run. But anyway, just saying, I think Alabaster Box, in certain I'm going to say that I've been guilty of thinking it's universally good, when in reality it might only be situationally good. That's my take on it, okay? I will also say, saw a post on my subreddit today. It said, hey NL, just so you know. Oh my god, the frames, dude. I feel like it's a combination of fruitcake, high rate of fire, and the item description mod. That's not a deal breaker for me, but it do be slow. said, hey, NL, just so you know, it's ancillary, not ancillary. And I had one of those moments where I was like, you fool. You absolute idiot. You're so wrong, and the funny part is you don't even know it. Then, I'm just trying to see, I was just going to say, maybe we could bust our way out of here. Wouldn't you know it? Look it up on dictionary.com, type in ancillary. It said, do you mean ancillary? I said, no, I meant ancillary. And then it said, hey, guess what, dummy? Not a word. And I went, all right, thank you, Reddit. I appreciate it. Look, there is, I've, at times in the past, talked about how I find it very annoying and self-aggrandizing for the corrector to be corrected on my grammar. However, it's a very, like, shameful's maybe not the right word, but it's a very embarrassing feeling to be like, I've been saying this word wrong for 32 years or so. I guess I probably only started using that one after I, turned 18 or whatever, but, so thank you, ancillary. Hey, the real ending, you don't see that too much anymore. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. We made it back, and honestly, I don't think we lost a single bit of HP after we came back, despite me thinking it was going to be tough. So for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/NorthernLion. I'm live every weekday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., doing some crosswords, increasing my vocabulary, playing some Isaac. I'll see you then. See ya!